My name is Emily Harper, 29, and I grew up in Seattle with my younger sister, Natalie, who's always been my shadow, my rival, my mirror. Only 18 months apart, we were often mistaken for twins, despite our stark differences, my auburn hair and green eyes from Mom, her jet black hair and brown eyes from Dad. Seattle's misty streets and coffee-scented air shaped our childhood, but so did Natalie's relentless need to outshine me. Every milestone, grades, friends, even our parents' fleeting glances, was a battleground. I never thought her envy would lead her to shatter my world by stealing Ethan, the man I loved with every fiber of my being. Worse, she didn't even want him, she just wanted to see me break. But she didn't anticipate the fire she'd ignite in me, or the way I'd turn her betrayal into my redemption. Before I dive into this story, let me know where you're reading from in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe to hear how I made Natalie witness the man she stole choose me again, his love deeper than ever. Natalie and I grew up in a cozy queen and bungalow. Our parents' love stretched thin between us. They swore they loved us equally, but Natalie's eyes always searched for proof they didn't. As kids, she'd snatch my favorite books, claiming she'd read them better. In middle school, she'd mimic my art projects, adding a flourish to make hers stand out. By high school, she was flirting with my first boyfriend days after our breakup, her laughter sharp as she tossed her hair in his direction. I brushed it off as sibling rivalry, never imagining she'd one day weaponize her jealousy to destroy my happiness. After college, I landed a job at Cascade Innovations, a tech startup in downtown Seattle. Within 4 years, I climbed to senior strategist, earning respect and a corner office with a view of Puget Sound. I had my own loft in Belltown, a tight-knit group of friends, and a life that felt like mine, free from Natalie's shadow. She chose a path in graphic design, freelancing from coffee shops, and for once, our lives didn't collide. Then I met Ethan Caldwell at the Daily Grind, a quirky cafe near my office. I was grabbing my usual chai latte when I bumped into him, spilling his espresso across his charcoal blazer. Mortified, I offered to pay for cleaning, but he just grinned, his blue eyes crinkling, and asked for my number instead. That evening, he called, and we planned a date for Saturday at Pike Place Market. Ethan, 31, was a software engineer at a rival firm, brilliant but humble, with a quick wit that matched my own. His chestnut hair fell in soft waves, and his smile could melt the Seattle rain. Our connection was instant, dates at waterfront bistros, late-night talks about dreams, and quiet moments watching ferries glide across the Sound. Within 3 months, we were inseparable, splitting time between my loft and his Capitol Hill apartment. At 6 months, we were dreaming of a future together, a house in Fremont, maybe a dog. I'd catch myself sketching our initials in my notebook, my heart full. I introduced Ethan to my family at a Sunday brunch at Mom and Dad's. Natalie was there, all charm and smiles, asking Ethan about his work, laughing too loudly at his jokes. I thought she was just being friendly, that maybe we'd finally outgrown our rivalry. Mom even whispered how nice it was to see us acting like sisters again. But at the next brunch, something shifted. Natalie showed up in a dress I'd worn on a date with Ethan, borrowed without asking, its neckline lower than I'd ever dared. She sat next to him, her hand brushing his as she passed the syrup, her eyes lingering too long. When Ethan mentioned his love for kayaking, Natalie claimed it was her passion too, though I'd never seen her near a kayak. "You two should paddle Lake Union sometime," she said, her voice sweet but her eyes excluding me. "I know the best routes." Ethan, ever polite, nodded. "Sounds fun. Emily and I have been wanting to try it." I caught the flicker of irritation in Natalie's gaze, but ignored it, telling myself I was reading too much into it. Later, as Ethan and I drove home, I mentioned it lightly. "Natalie seems to like you a lot." He shrugged. "She's nice. I'm just glad your family's cool with me." "They adore you," I said, pushing down the unease curling in my chest. As weeks passed, Ethan and I grew closer, our lives intertwining. We had favorite spots, the rooftop bar at the Nest, the indie bookstore in Pioneer Square. We left notes on each other's fridges, built a rhythm that felt like home. I was blissfully unaware that Natalie was plotting to unravel it all. The first red flag came when Natalie started showing up at our haunts. I'd mentioned our Sunday brunches at the Rusty Anchor, and suddenly, she was there, claiming she was in the area. She'd join us, her laughter too bright, her questions to Ethan too personal. It happened again at a craft beer tasting I'd planned with Ethan, and then at a tech expo he'd been excited about. "What are the odds?" she'd say, her smile never quite reaching her eyes. Seattle's big, but not that big, and her coincidences felt orchestrated. Then I saw the texts. Ethan and I shared our phones openly, no secrets, we'd agreed. One night, while he was in the kitchen, his phone lit up. A message from Natalie. "Can't wait to hear your thoughts on that coding podcast tomorrow." Our little secret, winky face. My stomach twisted. When he returned, I asked, trying to sound casual, "What's with the texts from Natalie?" He frowned. "Oh, she asked for podcast recommendations. She's thinking of starting one for her design work." I said I'd meet her to brainstorm. "And you didn't tell me?" I pressed, hating the jealousy in my voice. He kissed my cheek. "It didn't seem like a big deal. She's your sister, Em. I'm just being friendly." I wanted to believe him. Ethan was honest, dependable, the man who'd never given me reason to doubt. And Natalie was my sister. Surely she wouldn't cross that line. But the brainstorming coffee turned into daily texts, then calls. Natalie started inviting Ethan to family events directly, bypassing me. One night, checking his phone, guilt gnawing at me, I found dozens of messages, filled with emojis and inside jokes I didn't understand. Ethan grew distant, working late, his eyes on his phone when we were together. My friend Lauren noticed it too. "I hate to say this," she said over coffee, "but I saw Ethan and Natalie at the Brood Awakening yesterday. They were cozy." His hand was on her arm. My heart sank. "They're just friends," I said, but the words felt like ash. "Maybe," Lauren replied, "but friends don't look at each other like that." That night, I confronted Ethan. "Is something going on with Natalie?" His face flickered surprise, guilt, then a practiced calm. "Of course not. She's your sister, Emily." "That's not an answer," I snapped. "You're texting her constantly. Lauren saw you together. You're distant." He sighed, rubbing his temples. "Natalie's been struggling. She didn't want to worry you." "I've just been listening." "Struggling with what?" I demanded. "She should tell you herself," he hedged. "It's personal." The next family brunch was torture. Natalie wore a dress I'd bought for a date with Ethan, her smile smug as she sat beside him, her hand grazing his shoulder. When she whispered something that made him laugh, my chest tightened. Mom followed me to the kitchen when I escaped to refill my coffee. "Is everything okay with you and Ethan?" she asked softly. "Fine," I lied. Her eyes flicked to the dining room, where Natalie was showing Ethan her phone, their heads close. "Natalie seems fond of him," she said carefully. "They're friends," I muttered, hating the word. "Just be careful, sweetheart," Mom said. "You know how Natalie can be." I confronted Natalie after brunch, pulling her aside as Ethan helped Dad with dishes. "What's going on with you and Ethan?" Her eyes widened, all innocence. "What do you mean?" "The texts, the coincidences, the flirting," I said. "You're my sister." She scoffed. "You're paranoid, Emily. We're friends. Is that a crime? You always think I'm after your life." "He's not a prize to win," I said, anger rising. "He's my boyfriend. If Ethan has an issue, he can tell me," she shot back. "Maybe you're just insecure." I left feeling gaslit, questioning my own instincts. Ethan's distance grew. Our date nights dwindled. He was traveling for work more often, distracted when we were together. I felt him slipping away, and I was powerless to stop it. The final blow came on a stormy Thursday. I left work early, a headache pounding, and decided to surprise Ethan with soup from his favorite deli. As I neared his apartment, I saw them through a cafe window across the street, Ethan and Natalie, their hands intertwined, her head tilted toward him with an intimacy that stopped my heart. I stood in the rain, soup forgotten, watching for 15 agonizing minutes as they laughed, oblivious to me. When Natalie brushed his cheek, I turned away, the world blurring through tears. That night, I confronted Ethan at my loft. I showed him the photos I'd taken, my voice steady despite the storm inside. Tell me the truth. The fight was raw, ugly. He admitted Natalie had pursued him for months, showing up at his office, texting late at night, playing on his sympathies with tales of loneliness. I didn't mean for it to go this far, he said, pacing. I was trying to be kind to avoid family drama. So you had an emotional affair with my sister? I asked, my voice breaking. It's not an affair, he insisted. We haven't done anything physical. She's struggling, Emily. She feels like she's always second to you. And that's your job to fix? I cried. You betrayed me. I made a choice I'd later regret. If you love me, set boundaries with Natalie. No more secret meetings, no more texts. He agreed, his relief palpable. We spent that night holding each other, and I convinced myself we could move past this. The next day, Natalie asked to meet for coffee. Desperate to clear the air, I agreed. Ethan told me you saw us, she said, tears in her eyes. It wasn't what it looked like. I've been a mess. My last relationship crashed. Work's a disaster. Ethan was just listening. There are therapists for that, I snapped. Or me, your sister. You're always so perfect, she said, bitterness creeping in. Your job, your loft, your perfect boyfriend. I didn't want to burden you. So you burdened my boyfriend? I shot back. The one thing you haven't tried to steal. She looked wounded. Is that how you see me? I've never had what you have, Emily. You're the golden child. I just wanted to feel enough. Her tears seemed real, and I softened. If you're lonely, I'll help you meet someone. But not Ethan. She nodded. I'm sorry. It won't happen again. For 2 weeks, things improved. Ethan was attentive, Natalie backed off, and I dared to hope. Then came the day that broke me. A meeting canceled early, so I grabbed takeout from our favorite Thai spot and headed to Ethan's. I let myself in with my key, expecting he was napping since he hadn't answered my texts. The sounds from his bedroom shattered that illusion. Some reckless need for proof drove me to open the door. There they were, Ethan and Natalie, tangled in his sheets, so lost in each other they didn't notice me until the takeout bags hit the floor. Their faces, Ethan's horror, Natalie's fleeting triumph before she feigned remorse, are burned into my mind. Emily, Ethan stammered, I can explain. Don't, I said, my voice eerily calm. This speaks for itself. Natalie clutched the sheet. I'm so sorry, Emily. It just happened. Her rehearsed tone betrayed the lie. This wasn't a mistake, it was deliberate. I walked out, their voices fading as I fled to my car, where I sobbed until my chest ached. The aftermath was a blur of pain. Ethan's voicemails piled up, begging forgiveness, claiming Natalie seduced him. Natalie alternated between apologies and suggesting I should be happy for them. I blocked them both. My parents were devastated but infuriatingly neutral. We can't choose between our daughters, Mom said. What Natalie did was wrong, but she's still family. She slept with my boyfriend, I snapped. How is that not a clear line? Dad looked pained. We've asked her not to bring Ethan around, but we can't cut her off. We hope you can find a way to heal. There's nothing to heal, I said, ice in my voice. She's dead to me. I stopped attending family events, spending holidays with Lauren instead. The loneliness was suffocating. I'd lost my boyfriend, my sister, and my family's unity in one blow. Through friends, I learned Ethan and Natalie were dating openly, parading around Seattle without shame. Lauren reluctantly shared that Natalie had bragged at a salon about planning to take Ethan from me, saying I always got everything and she deserved a win. The betrayal wasn't a moment of weakness, it was a calculated attack. Worse, I heard Natalie had flirted with my past boyfriends, failing until Ethan. My work suffered. I took a leave, barely eating, haunted by nightmares. Natalie didn't even love him. She called him dull, to friends, her victory more about my defeat than any real affection. One sleepless night, after too much wine, I wrote Natalie a letter, spilling decades of pain, her thefts, her jealousy, her need to diminish me. I asked why she hated me enough to destroy my happiness. I never sent it. Instead, I burned it in my sink, the ashes marking a turning point. Natalie had taken too much, my love, my family, my peace. She wouldn't take my future. I deleted Ethan's photos, redecorated my loft, joined a yoga studio, and started therapy. I threw myself into work, refusing to let her win. 6 months later, Lauren shared a rumor. Ethan and Natalie had split. It was messy. Natalie cheated. Ethan threw her out. I felt no joy, only a hollow ache. What will you do if Ethan reaches out? Lauren asked. Nothing, I said, but a plan was forming. Revenge wasn't enough. I wanted Natalie to see me rise from her betrayal, stronger, with Ethan choosing me again. I transformed myself. I trained with a coach, shedding the weight of grief. I took on high-stakes projects, earning a promotion. I built new friendships, free from my past. Then I staged a chance meeting with Ethan at his favorite Fremont coffee shop. I walked in, confident in a tailored blazer, my new strength evident. His jaw dropped shock, admiration, regret. Emily, you look incredible, he said. Thank you, I replied coolly. I'm late for a meeting. As I left, he called out, can we talk sometime? I handed him my card. Text me if you're serious. He did, and we met at a quiet bar. He confessed everything, Natalie's relentless pursuit, her sob stories, his own weakness. She didn't love me, he said. Once she had me, she moved on. I threw away the best thing in my life. I let him see my pain, carefully measured. You and Natalie broke me, Ethan. I'm still picking up the pieces. He begged for a chance to make it right. I kept him at a distance, agreeing to occasional coffees, then dinners, letting him earn my trust drop by drop. Lauren warned me I was playing with fire. He betrayed you with your sister, she said. That's not a mistake, it's a choice. I smiled. I'm just seeing where this goes. But I knew my goal, to let Natalie watch Ethan choose me, to feel the sting of her failure. After 6 months, I agreed to restart our relationship. Ethan was devoted, transparent, rebuilding what he'd broken. I made sure Natalie heard through friends, subtle social media posts, family whispers. The final act came at my parents' Memorial Day barbecue. They invited Natalie, and I agreed, knowing it was time to face her. Ethan and I arrived late, a united front, my hand in his. Natalie stood by the grill, her face paling as she saw us. She looked worn, her eyes shadowed. I smiled, a quiet, victorious smile, then turned to greet relatives, Ethan's arm around me. For hours, we shone, our love undeniable, while Natalie watched, her composure cracking. She approached us, her voice tight. Emily, Ethan. You're back together. For months, I said, my tone warm. It's been perfect. Her eyes glistened. You're doing this to hurt me, she hissed. You took him back to prove you could. Ethan spoke up. I made a mistake with you, Natalie. I never loved you. I love Emily. Her face twisted. You didn't say that in my bed, she spat, drawing gasps from nearby guests. That's enough, I said calmly. Go inside. Dad escorted her away as she unraveled, her humiliation public. 2 months later, Ethan proposed at Canlis, Seattle's finest restaurant, a diamond ring sparkling in the candlelight. I don't deserve you, he said, but I'll spend my life proving I'm worthy. Will you marry me? Tears fell, real tears, because I loved him, not just the revenge. Yes, I whispered. The restaurant cheered. I posted the moment online, knowing Natalie would see it, but her pain no longer mattered. My happiness did. At our engagement party, I invited Natalie. She came, subdued, offering a quiet congratulations. I'm happy for you, she said, avoiding my eyes. I am, I replied. Truly. As she left early, I felt pity, not triumph. She'd lost everything, her sister, her parents' respect, her dignity, while I'd rebuilt my life. In therapy, I questioned my motives. Did I take Ethan back for love or revenge? I asked Dr. Ellis. Maybe both, she said. What matters is how you feel now. I confessed to Ethan, admitting my initial desire to hurt Natalie. Does it change anything? I asked. No, he said. We're honest now. No secrets. Relief washed over me. Weeks before our wedding, Natalie asked to meet. She'd ordered my latte, remembering how I took it. I'm not coming to the wedding, she said. I'm moving to Portland. New job, new start. I've been in therapy, learning why I've always competed with you. I'm sorry, Emily. I wanted to hurt you because I felt less than you. I listened, seeing her vulnerability. I hope you find peace, I said. It wasn't forgiveness, but a step toward closure. Our wedding was in Gasworks Park, the Seattle skyline glowing behind us. Natalie sent a gift, a childhood photo of us, laughing, with a note, wishing you happiness. Love, Nat. As Ethan and I vowed to love each other, I let go of revenge. This was about us, our love rebuilt from ashes. Dad's toast echoed my heart, to second chances, to courage, to love that endures. As we danced, I whispered, I'm glad we're here. Me too, Ethan said. Forever. What's your take? Have you faced betrayal? Do you believe in second chances, or are some lines uncrossable? Share below, and if this story moved you, like, subscribe, and share. Sometimes, the best response to pain isn't revenge, it's building something unbreakable from the ruins.